Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a updated 2024 guide to RuneScape single player. Again, it's been a while, so I apologize for it taking so much time. I'm just going to get through it quite quickly, hopefully tell you guys everything you need to know, yeah, we'll just get straight into it. So the first thing that I have to say is obviously a copyright disclaimer. Look, this is all fan-made. Therefore, it's subject to kind of copyright considerations. Again, this is a very, I suppose you could say, development-led kind of effort, archival. I'm not condoning or endorsing any of this stuff. I'm just simply showing how it works. And with that being said, I'm hopefully going to get through all the stuff that you need to know in order to run all this stuff yourself and play single player. So there's one small update I made because I'm actually re-recording this from last time, and that is that I went to Rune Server, which is obviously a place where there's lots of RuneScape kind of single player and private server stuff that's been hosted on there, and obviously you can see the ads. And originally I was making a video about this archive.org, which is where my last video, if you haven't watched that already, links to. And obviously, there have been some updates since then. So, on exploring Rune Server, I found Midge5, who is the guy that's that built this, RuneScape single player. So, all credit to him. Again, he's the guy that's put this together. So, very, very handy, very useful to have this kind of resource. And if you have questions as well, I believe somewhere in here. Again, this is a really useful page, and I will link this. It pretty much tells you everything you need to know about all the extra stuff that's been added. But RSPS Central is the Discord, and I'll put that in the description as well. It's basically the best place to go to understand, all the updates that are made and any questions you might have. I'm just basically showing you how to set it up on your computer. So, first thing is the prerequisites and what you need to install. First thing you need to do is make sure you have a compatible operating system. So you're going to be running this on Windows. I'm running this on Windows 10, but I believe it will work with Windows 11. And what you need to do is go to Installer here, choose one of the options. It really doesn't matter. As long as it's installed, as long as you've got Windows 10 or 11, should run just fine. Anyway, so there are two download links. This is the old one that I've linked in the old video. The new one is here, which is Midge5's Rune Server community post. Okay. Now, what you want to do is follow the download, and it will take you here. And obviously, you can see this is Progressive RS2 version 3 9.1, and obviously this was updated recently. But if you go here to the old download, as you can see, I've had to track these downloads down myself. Obviously, this is why there's an update video. Some of this stuff is like a 3.3. So again, different caches, different versions. You want to use the thing that's been updated more often, right? So I'm going to assume that you go to the download from the community post, which is here, and you've got it downloaded on your computer, and then obviously this is the old file, this is the new one. As you can see, there's a big size difference, so one has been updated more than the other. And then what I would also say is optional, although you don't have to do it, is download Notepad++, which is a super useful program. I would recommend it for pretty much general use, but it's useful to have something like this to change the config files, because it has syntax highlighting and grouping options, which is going to make configuration of server files much easier. So, okay, we've downloaded Java, we have a compatible operating system, and we have Progressive RS2 downloaded. So what is the next stage? Well, before I move on to that, I'll say there are different types of RuneScape single server things that you can find, and if you go to the download section of Rune Server, just because I'm only covering one person's version of this, again, you know, it's down to you whether or not you want to use that or another thing, because there are obviously some RuneScape releases on here. But I find that the version that I'm about to go over to be, you know, the best, in my opinion, for playing single player and having your own world and doing your own thing on that. Okay, now we'll go back to the here we go. Go back to RuneScape server here. Right. What you want to do is download the zip file, which will come here, and you just want to extract it, and you'll get a folder that looks like this. Okay, so first things first is well, how do I run this? Okay, now obviously what we can do is go to server, right? And this is an important folder to take a look at, right? So one of the things I'm going to go over very quickly is how to do configs and sheets. Again, sheets file is here. I'll move it onto here. I'll go through some of these in a second, so don't worry about that. And then obviously we have our config file, which is here. And if we edit that with Notepad++, we can take that here, and obviously you can see how to config things, right? And I'll just, again, to try and make this video as expansive as possible, I'm just going to show you how to make configs. I won't go over every single config because this video would take forever if I did that. But here's essentially how it works. If you're in Notepad++, it's going to make your life a lot easier. But in purple here, this is the variable. And we can obviously choose whether or not, you know, whether or not this world is going to be members or free to play. Is one of our first options. Right above that is cache version. So what you can do is you can go and find the cache that you want to use for your server, and then go back to config and change the number, and it will load that cache. I just keep it as default because I like 289 the most, but again, here are some more. So again, members requirement, again, you know, do we want this to be a members world? Wildy bots, again here, do we want that enabled, and how many do we want? 1 is yes, 30 is the number of bots. Again, we have more and more and more. So this is just bot settings about what you're going to kind of see in the world in terms of other people. You know, and there's quite a few that are on here, and you know, it's obviously whatever you want to do, right? LAN, obviously there's some options for what you want to do. If I change LAN to 1, just so that we can show off some of the networking features, save that. Again, we've got some other stuff here. This is like if you want to get into specific stuff. I usually leave this stuff alone, but again, you can change whatever you want to. Change fight cave start wave. So you got the fight caves on there, which is interesting. Barrows reward rate. Yeah. So again, bot login, and movement system. So as you can see, there's lots and lots of options. You can choose as many people as you want to. But yeah, that's essentially it. If we go to bot login and we just change that to like 300. There we go. So you can have a configure around with what you want in there. It's not really essential, but you can just leave it how it is. But if you want to configure anything about the server, this is what you use. Anyway, so now that we've done the config, what's next? Well, the first thing is go to the server and then click the launch.bat file. Click enter there. As you see, we've got our control panel, and I don't mind that here. So we've got control panel and a world map, and that's basically going to show you. It doesn't have what do you call it, like location names on it, but you can tell like this is obviously Lumbridge Castle, this is the swamp, this is Alcarid, these are the fight caves, this is the desert, this is Tutorial Island, that's Wizard's Tower, that's Draenor Village, I think, and then that's the mansion. Falador, again, I don't need to explain the map to you, but you can resize it as well. I'll show you this. And then when there's people in the game, you can see where they are and where they've spawned. So if I go over here to our control panel, again, thank you Midge5, and click Start Server, you'll see people start to pop on. Again, if you haven't seen this before, it's quite cool. Just click Start Server, and then again we can see we have about 2,000 people maximum capacity. Right, so by default, it's going to load up with about 150 people. And as you can see, they are spread about. We have, and again, we would go into the server.config file if we wanted to add more people in there. But as you can see, within kind of like the immediate area, we've seen some people load in. But I think if you left this running long enough, again, they are spreading out and you can see where they are. You know, these bots will wander a bit and they'll go different places. But yeah, depending on kind of like where you want these people to go, where you want the bots to be, yeah, they will spread out a little bit. And you can always just keep your eye on it over here. Okay, right. So now we've run the server. So we've got everything downloaded, we've got the server going, talked about the forum, etc., etc. What is the next stage is actually playing the game. So if we go to client here, click launch on this bat file here, you'll give it a minute, and obviously we've got our client here. I can't turn off the music, so just be concerned of that. To make a new user, just click existing user and log in with any name and it will save it. So if we just call this account my tester, and just, oh, tab doesn't switch by the way, so this music will be gone in a minute. Password, login. Here we go. So again, you know, we have all the standard customization options that we have in Runescape, which is like nothing new if you've been playing the RSPS much. Hotkeys, so up, down, left, right, we can control kind of where we're going. I will skip Tutorial Island because I don't think it's very necessary, but we'll get just dropped right in the game world. As you can see, continue. Right, so just gonna turn the music off for a second, right. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over some really basic stuff. Again, we've got the game running, we've got, you know, we're loaded in, and we can start, combat works fine, you know, equipping gear, like if I just attack this imp here, you'll see that combat works fine, no problems with that. Again, if you've watched my previous videos before, you'll know that, you know, this is a pretty well polished RSPS, so I won't be too worried about stuff breaking. Obviously there will be small bugs, but yeah, this works pretty well. Anyway, let's just try and walk away from this fight. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. Let's see if we could just run away. It's boundary shouldn't... Okay, here we go. Right, so one of the things I'm going to show you quickly is how to do the cheats. And as you can see, this is an old version of the game because we don't have the tutorial characters here. Give me a minute, put up the cheat stock. Okay, here we go. So if I bring up the cheat stock here, and if I just resize myself, make myself a little bit smaller. Here we go. Right, on the left I've got cheats, and here I've got my game client. And then obviously you can see there's other characters in the game. It's not, again, those maps correspond to people, to bots in the games. Anyway, so really useful ones to know is master. If I just go to skills here, ... so semicolon, semicolon, master. And then we've got, you know, max skills, which is really useful. And then, you know, we can do other stuff. Char, we can customize our character. Again, it's quite cool, quite useful if we just want to play around. That's cool. Spawning in items is another one that's useful to know. Again, these are all on the left, so item, and then obviously we can search for let's see, dragon, and again we get a list of things. If we just go for something that we can wield right off the bat, dragon chain body, there we go. Again, you wouldn't spawn on any item this way, so it's not a big deal. But if you want to play around with cheats, you can obviously do that. There's obviously quests and a few other things. Bank is another good one to know. You can open our bank from anywhere. Anyway, so one of the other things I was going to show you was basically how to do all the stuff on here, but connect via local LAN, right? So this is kind of a bit more difficult to get working, but if you're running off the same local network, again, I'm not going to do a tutorial for Hamachi and port forwarding because, to be honest with you, I think it would take a bit of time. But if you know how to port forward and set up Hamachi, then you can basically play with friends online, which is essentially what Hamachi service does. But if you want to play with people locally, what you would do, and this is, again, I'm going to do it from within the same machine, but as long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network as someone, your same local area network, you should be able to do this. And I'm just going to demonstrate how, in theory, that works. Okay, so we've got our client here. Obviously, my tester is over here. You would copy the here we go. You'll copy the progressive RS2 stuff over to another computer on your network. And if we open this again, we can launch the client twice. Here we go. And again, there's the music. And if we just make a new account called tester2 and give this password, let's make this person female this time, whatever. Okay, so now we've got our second character. And again, we just complete tutorial island like we did before. Here we go. Right, so now we're both going to be in the same game. And again, you can see that there are two clients running at once. I'm just going to show you that we're running off the same bat. And I'll tell you how to connect these two. Because basically, only one person is going to be running the server, right? And then you're going to have your second additional client on someone else's computer, so they're going to want to only copy the client files, but not the server files. If I come over here, as you can see, my tester is over here. We have our characters meet up in the game, which is cool. See if trade works. Quite cool. Trade some stuff here. Again, that's useful. Anyway, so that system works just fine. Again, good responsiveness. Now, if I want to run this on another computer, all we're going to do is put in the IP address in the login bit. So if I click log out, right, this is going to basically connect to any local connection, right? And I'll try and show you in as much detail as I can some of the things that you can do, right? So if I go to user config, open with Notepad+, right. So essentially, we want to enable LAN within this if we want to put it over a local area network. Again, because this is a PAN network, because it's my personal area network, you'll be able to connect your players without changing any of these things, but just make sure that if you're going to try and do this over Wi-Fi, you're connecting it via LAN, making sure that you're changing these options is what I meant. So close that, and yeah, so essentially, as long as you have the following requirements, you should be able to play over your local Wi-Fi network, as long as you're connected to the server, and then you put the client files on another computer, then you should be able to connect via this, right? So again, it's not something that I do often, but yeah, if you want to play with multiple people, or just have a bunch of friends come over, whatever, this is the way to do it. It should automatically find the server. Again, if it doesn't, here we go. Right, so it's down to you whether or not you want to use the network functionality, but you should be able to, and there's no problem. And if this doesn't work properly, there is another version of this that you can use, and I'll show you that very quickly. If I just log out of these clients, close these. If I just go back to progressive RSPS, there we go. Right. If you find that you can't do local area network, then this might be another alternative. Again, this is the latest release that I've just checked out today, but for some reason, if you can't get networking stuff to run on that, we go to 2006 player and just extract those files here, and just give that a minute. It shouldn't take too long. And basically, when this is extracted, it should give us some options to log in. And this is not I would say it's not really designed. I mean, it has the functionality to play with friends, but mostly when I'm playing RuneScape 2006 single player, I'm playing by myself. I'm just like testing something out, or I'm just looking at a part of the game that I can't look at normally, and things like that. So here we go. Right, this is an older version of the game, but it essentially runs the same. If we go to server again, files are pretty much the same. We'll click on launch. I will also say make sure that there we go, start server. And as you can see, this has the networking features a little bit more sorted on them. So if you can't run any of the files for the initial kind of networking stuff, try use the older version. I don't know if the new version works, but you should be able to connect automatically if you're on the same network. But if that doesn't work, try use the old version. Again, I'm going to link that as well. Come to client, go to launch, because essentially, here we go, right. This is the other way of doing it, is you click scan LAN servers here, and it will find that version. So again, this is a different version of 2006 single player. The game client is fairly similar to the other one I've shown you, but you've got the option to change game frame as well, which is pretty useful. Yeah, so if you want to run two at the same time, you can do that. Are we running a server? By Midge. Here we go. We've got the client server running here. And then essentially if I've got this running and then scan for LAN servers on this button here, I should be able to connect to a server that's running over the same network. Again, sorry this isn't a full in-depth tutorial on that specifically. I'd have to load it up in a virtual machine to actually demonstrate that functionality, but hopefully this shows you how to get the old version 3.3 working and the new version, which is obviously 3.9, and you can find that over on the forum here. Again, 3.9.1 is there, so there's obviously a whole bunch of things you can read on here. Choose whatever version you want to. Again, doesn't really make a difference to me. It's just what you want out of the experience. It's pretty fun to play, and hopefully that has covered pretty much everything you need to know. And I will leave all the links in the description. I hope this has been really useful. I hope that you guys have fun playing this. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and I will see you guys soon.